In this video, we would be solving part C of question 4.7. Use black ink to sketch in the indifference curve along which Harry's utility is 12. Use red ink to sketch in the indifference curve along with which Harry's utility is 6. And is there anything about Harry that reminds you of Mary Granola? Till now, in the previous video, we have drawn this graph where this black line corresponds to the locus of all the points where 2x1 plus x2 is equal to x1 plus 2x2. This line corresponds to the equation of x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 12, and this line has the equation of 2x1 plus x2 is equal to 12. And the shaded region corresponds to the inequalities of x1 plus 2x2 is greater than equal to 12 and x2 plus 2x1 is greater than equal to 12. So this purple region corresponds to this inequality where we are including this boundary line as we are dealing with the equality signs. Now the question says use the black ink to sketch in the indifference curve along with which Harry's utility is 12. Note that the purple region corresponds to this inequality and you have the utility function of the form minimum of x1 plus 2x2 comma x2 plus 2x1. If we want the utility to have the value of 12, that means we want minimum of x1 plus 2x2 comma x2 plus 2x1 to be equal to 12. Now be very careful. This region corresponds to the area where you have the value of at least 12. That means either 12 or more than 12. And these blue lines give you the value of exactly 12. So if I consider the minimum of this entire region, because I want the value of exactly to be 12, that means I have to choose all those combinations which are giving me the utility of exactly 12. So that would be this black solid line. Anything above this black solid line that would be corresponding to the shaded region would give us the value of more than 12. But we do not want that. We want the value of exactly to be 12. Hence this black solid or darker line would be the indifference curve along with which Harry's utility is exactly 12. So I'm removing the unnecessary elements. Your indifference curve would look like this, where it has a kink along this locus where 2x1 plus x2 is equal to x1 plus 2x2. So recalling and see what we have done. All we have done is we first drew the lines where x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 12, which were these blue lines, and then we found the common region where x1 plus 2x2 is greater than equal to 12 and x2 plus 2x1 is greater than equal to 12. After that, what we did was we took the minimum of the entire region, which gives us the value of exactly to be 12. Now note one thing here, that in this particular case we are getting indifference curve as this simple line, but it could be the possibility that there could be a region which corresponds to a value of 12 and not just single line. So you have to consider that entire region while drawing your indifference curve, and that entire region you are called indifference band and not indifference curve. So be very careful while you're seeing which part of the shaded region gives you the value of exactly 12. So in our case, this was the solid line, making your indifference curve look like this. Now the question says use red ink to sketch in the indifference curve along with which Harry's utility is 6. Now note that you do not have to repeat the entire process again and again, where you have to first draw the line of x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 6 and then x2 plus 2x1 is equal to 6 and then find the common region belonging to the inequality of x1 plus 2x2 greater than equal to 6 and x2 plus 2x1 greater than equal to 6 and then find the minimum of this is 6 and then find the minimum of the two. What you can do is, now you know the basic shape of your indifference curve. So if you want to draw the indifference curve having a different value or giving you the different utility levels, all you have to do is just shift this indifference curve upwards or downwards. Note that this indifference curve is giving you the utility of 12. So if you want the utility to be less than 12, then it would be belong to this region that is below the indifference curve. And if you want the utility of more than 12, 12, then it will belong in the upwards direction, because we are considering that this is your preference direction. So higher the indifference curve, the higher the utility levels you are getting. Now we want the utility of 6. So that would lie here. So this red indifference curve shows you all the combinations of corn chips and french fries, which gives Harry the utility of 6. Also, there would be one slight thing you have to do in order to see the exact position. You have to draw the line x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 6 and x2 plus 2x1 is equal to 6. So if I draw those lines, they would lie like this. So they would look like this, and I would be taking only these parts of these lines, which would comprise of my indifference curve, making your indifference curve look like this. That was all for this video. We would be doing the remaining parts of this question in the next video.